Good evening, folks, and welcome back for what is the last time this season and this year in APPF1 Tier 1 for tonight's finale. And it's a nice, calm and relaxed finale tonight, as both championships are now wrapped up and finished. The Saubers claiming the Constructors, and Kylo Ren claiming, finally, his first Tier 1 title, crawling out of the shadow of Kylo, of himself? No, of Finley. Well, we've got a relatively nice and relaxed race. We'll run you through the standings, just to see what other battles we've got going on, and see what we can focus on amongst the table. So let's have a look. So, as I said, Kylo Ren is your World Drivers' Champion for Tier 1. It is the two Saubers. There are 4 points between them. So is it gloves off between those two lime green cars? We're yet to find out, as Robin Brain's out on the circuit. We've then got the RB of Lewis and Josh, 7 points between each other. A point behind his Ghost there as well, with LTB in amongst it as well. I don't think LTB is here, so there's still a fight for P4 going on in the mix. So lots of battles up and down the grid. You've got Kevin O'Reilly, Hugo, Jasper, the rest of the top 10, with Finley, Griffin, Tomash, Paulie Orange, MX, Jackalacco, Chris RBL, Joey B, Rick and Lawrence, the top 20 in the Drivers' Championship. The Constructors, as I say, has been won by the Sauber team. Red Bull are in second, and they look confirmed second there. Excuse me, as well. Alpine should hold on to P3, but Williams could snatch it if any drama happens for the Alpine team. So a double DNF will see them out of it for sure. You've then got the RB chasing down the Williams pair. You've got Mercedes 6 points ahead of Haas. You've then got McLaren, Aston Martin and Ferrari. And so you're right on board with Robin Brain to start a lap here in Mexico. And we go down this long straight. It goes on forever. Great DRS though as you go through, and it looks like the teammate of this Ferrari, Johnny Carr, has just peeled out to give his teammate a slipstream into turn 1. Then turn 2, taking a lot of curb through these corners, a lot of curb through turn 3, sending him a bit wide through there, but then uses his teammate to give him the slipstream down in towards turn 4. The Ferrari getting out of the way and letting it by Robin Brain into turn 4 and 5 into this technical section here. Now this is one corner, this is turn 6. Now you run all the way down to turn number 7 into the S section of the circuit. Very fast, very flowing, and a lot of fun if you get it right, but Robin Brain gets it all sorts of wrong. Just about avoids terminal damage, but you can see his left end plate left stranded on there. So we're right on board with Rubialski to take us through the rest of the lap as we go through into that same S section. Hopefully no spins this time for the Haas driver. No, not this time around. As we go through, cut that curb on the inside as much as you can without invalidating, and then all the way down into this last DRS zone. Into the stadium section we go. Really got to take the speed through that corner. Rubialski not quite finding the rhythm through there on this occasion. But one last corner to navigate now. Don't lose it here, it's so easily done. And then down to the line, take the shortest path possible. And it's a 1:16.0, immediately beaten by QVR, Verstappen behind him. Griffin's coming across the line now as well. He slots into second place. The second Sauber. Dake said his times are rubbish. Well, a 1:14.9 says different, if you ask me. That's the fastest of anybody so far. Sandbagging, I think, is the term for what Dake is doing today. As Scott goes P7. And we've got one of the McLarens. It's Rick, the Dutchman, into P8 he goes. LTB rounding the final corner now. He's having a fantastic debut season. Is this Alpine driver, and is certainly going to be one to watch as we go on to the next season in the new year, of course. I've had the pleasure of taking a peek at next season's calendar. I won't spoil anything. Although we all know that Monaco is going to be on it. That has been told to you multiple times. But that's all I will say about next season's calendar as Kevin O'Reilly slots into P11. Johnny Carr begins a lap here as well. Jackalacco out on the circuit there to Robin Brain on another out lap after his spin on his first attempt. As most other people, there's Jasper coming through the stadium section now. I think everyone else is peeling into the pits, so Jasper is going to be the next driver to set a lap time. Can he get up into the dizzying heights of the top 5 alongside his teammate, maybe onto the front row? It's 4th, so into that top 5 position for Griffin. Here's Ghost. He's been struggling a lot recently in qualifying, and it's going to be the next to come along. His 1 lap pace has been somewhat underwhelming, I think he'd agree, but it's in the races he's been doing it, but he's got to find the time here. Let's see, getting that Williams through the final couple of corners now. Car number 72 rounds the final corner in towards the line, and it's only P12 for Ghost and 18.9. That's very slow for Ghost, and I think he might be going again actually, so we'll come back to him in just a minute. Johnny Carr is going to be the next car to cross the line, and crosses the line he does into P11. Jackalacco next behind him there as well. Into P8 goes the McLaren. Just Robin Brain and Kevin yet to set a lap, and the 2 Ferraris giving each other slipstream all the way down. Let's watch Ghost. Yeah, he is going again. He's a second up on this attempt. Let's see what he can manage this time around in that Williams car. And he's invalidated, so he won't be happy with that. Not a proper banker on the board, I will say. An 18.9 is... would probably put your bottom of tier 3, to be honest. So Ghost will have to go again. Meanwhile, Josh up on his previous... was he going again? I'm not sure what Josh is doing. He's been out for a few laps now. But we'll see. Oh dear. Never so sorry. I think I'm becoming a little under the weather. Perhaps as Robin Brain goes fastest of the bunch, a 14.3. That's more like it. From the driver from ESRL. Laying down a lap time. Laying down the gauntlet for everyone else. See what everybody else can manage. I'm thinking potentially a low 13 is going to be the pole time here. So we'll just have to see what happens. Got Lewis and Griffin out on a lap. I think Griffin's about to start his lap, so let's ride along with Griffin. I think Josh is coming into the pits. He is. So yes, Griffin next to go. And I hope those of you in the chat are enjoying so far. Come and say hello. As I say, final race of the season. The championships are both done and dusted, but a lot of drivers fighting it out for positions. That P4 is up for grabs. Make sure you keep an eye on the likes of Lewis, Josh, Ghost and LTB. They're all fighting for P4. And of course those 2 Saubers, Verstappen and Dakar. Dakar's got the advantage right now. It's 4 points between the pair of them. They're fighting for P2. Whether they'll care too much about those positions, I don't know, but you may as well, right? You've got to beat your teammate as your closest rival in F1, as they say. I mean, it's a bit different in the way we do things here in APPF1 as opposed to real life, but it kind of sort of applies, I think. As Griffin makes his way into the stadium section now, wrangling that RB car through these slow corners. Time so easily lost in this section of the track, and then Griffin throws down the throttle and into P6. Solid lap from Griffin there. As Kevin comes across the line to start a lap, only driver without a lap time on the board. Let's see who else is going around. Kevin O'Reilly is on a lap, but he's not next across the line. And that's Lawrence behind Vingy there. I'm just trying to find the next driver. I want to say It might actually be Lewis. It is Lewis. He's 2/10 up on this current time. That's looking to get him around P6. If he can find a bit more time, maybe into that top 5. If he can find the time in the final sector here. Scott's behind him as well. We'll try and ride on board with Scott once he's finished. But let's see what Lewis can manage in his RB. What lap time has he got in the bank? It's P5 for Lewis. Scott. Only P4. No, it's not Scott. It was Kevin O'Reilly, and he's shot up to P8. Scott's further down the road. The two Saubers. Verstappen in, Dakar in, both invalidated their laps. Kevin's going to be next. Let's see what banker time he can throw down. That Aston Martin rounds the final corner. Takes that short line. Only P13 for the Tier 2, last season's Tier 2 champion. Johnny Carr's about to go out and start a lap. We'll keep an eye on him as Lawrence making his way through. And that's very, very wide from Lawrence. That's going to cost him some time. And maybe that's cost him his lap. He hasn't invalidated, but let's see if he's going to peel into the pits after that one. No, he's going to finish it off as he comes around the final corner. It's a 1:16.0, only P10 for Lawrence. Jackalacco improving by 0.3 of a second. Can he get himself into that top 10? He can. It's P8 for Jack. LTB's invalidated his lap. Scott going around again. I think Jasper's about to start a lap, which means Ghost is next, but he's invalidated his time as well. Lots of invalidations. It's easy to do around this circuit, especially through this section of the track. I think Rubiowski's on a lap. We'll find out as he crosses the line here. No, he's down on his time, not on a lap. Here's Rubiowski. Johnny Carr behind. Definitely not on a lap, going slowly. Not sure what's happened to Johnny Carr. I'm sure I understand what's going on with the Ferrari, but he's going slowly through Sector 3 here. Jackalacco not on a lap right now. Scott, he's on a lap, he's up, but he's invalidated his time. So many invalidations among the drivers right now. How about Jasper? Jasper is on a lap by the looks of things. He's up by 6 thousandths of a second. Let's see if he can find some time in this final sector here. In his Alpine. He's sat P6 right now. A marginal improvement might put him back into P5. The two Alpines flying well out there in Tier 1, and it's no improvement for Jasper. He stays P6 with a 1:15.2. Ghost, he's a 10th up, but into the pits again. This is an abysmal qualifying for Ghost. He's got to pull something out of the bag if he wants to set a competitive lap time here at Mexico. Let's see what he can do. Meanwhile, Rick begins his first run of this. I'm going to say now the final runs, really. Rick might have time for one more, depending on how this one goes. Into turn 1 we go. Is there a good amount of that curve going all the way down into second, which is interesting for that first corner. But down into turn 4 we go. Very difficult braking zone. But Rick getting the car stopped. And second for that one as well. Looking for the rotation from the engine as he's making his way through these twisty corners. And then down into this S section now. Let's see. Throws the car through. In through there. Using all the curb he can. Making the track as wide as possible. And not invalidating the lap either. Let's see as he crosses the Sector 2 line, which is here. He's 8/10 up. This is a good improvement from Rick. This is going to put him in the low 15s. Or the high 15s even. This is looking like a P11 for Rick right now. Maybe even a foray into the top 10 if he can find just a little bit more in his McLaren. There's some very close lap times. And Rick gets amongst them, a 15.5. He's about 10th off Rubiowski. But if he can find time for one more run, then maybe, just maybe, Rick can get something out of this session. There's Ghost out once more, warming up the tyres. He knows he's in a bit of a difficult position here. Again, that 18.9. Not a great lap time to be had. Like I said, that won't even get you... that's good enough for bottom of tier 3, I think. So Ghost's going to have to put something together in this run. But will he go now, or will he do 2 outlaps? Let's see. No overtakes on, so this is Ghost's push lap. Let's see what he can manage in that yellow and pink helmet. This lovely blue Williams car. Oh, so looking forward to next year's liveries already. The season's barely been over. That's a big lock up into turn 1 for Ghost as he makes his way through, trying to find the time on the very limit of the track there as well. He's coming down to that sector 1 line. Let's see if he's improving this time around. He's 1.3 seconds up, so this is looking good for Ghost already. Let's see as he makes his way through sector 2, just dancing on the edge of the line there, trying to find all the time he possibly can to get this car over the line and in a decent position. And he's invalidated again. Oh, Ghost. We'll come back to him, but continuing to struggle in qualifying. It's a huge shame. Meanwhile, Scott, 2/10 up. He's avoided all that traffic that seems to be behind him now. Let's see what he can find. Hopefully not the white line to invalidate his lap. As he goes through, we'll keep an eye on Ghost, see if he goes into the pits. No, he's going to go again. He's got time for one more run. But his tyres aren't going to be in the best window. Scott, 8/10 up. He was looking very quick here in Tier 2. Managed to get pole in qualifying, I believe. Or maybe it was somebody else who snapped it, but had a poor race. But there's Scott across the line, up into P7. Solid lap from Scott, it must be said. Let's see who's next across the line. I want to say Josh. Probably, yeah, Josh and then LTB behind him. Yes, it is. Okay. We'll try and keep an eye on them. All the cars are quite bunched up together as they come out of the stadium section. But we'll see. I think Ghost is actually ahead of his teammate. He's 1.2 up. Let's see. He's made it further than he did before without invalidating. So let's see what he can do this time in his Williams. We're back on board with the driver in APP with the most titles out of anyone. Most decorated driver in APPF1. Across all of the divisions except Tier 2. He's 2.5 seconds up, or however much it was. That's a bit better, a 15.4. Let's see if it keeps him there as the rest of the runs come on. Here comes Josh, his teammate, only good enough for P14. LTB was behind. He couldn't match what Robin Brain had laid down for everybody. How about Kevin O'Reilly? It's not Kevin O'Reilly, it's Scott, but he's peeling into the pit lane. The two Saubers, Dake, can he have an answer to anyone? No, he stays P3. Verstappen crossing the line now. That's Kevin improving his time, but only up to 15th. As Verstappen goes ahead of his teammate into P3. Second row lockout so far for the two Sauber cars. Here comes Kevin O'Reilly. He's had a great run of form up into P6. That's a solid lap time from him. Johnny Carr done for the day. He's out of the session. Is that Griffin next? It is. Up into P6 he goes. His teammate Lewis only good enough for P5. Doesn't improve his lap time. Jackalacco into 10th there as well. I think Rubialski's crossing the line next, but he's invalidated his lap. So that's lap over for him. I think it's Jasper next who goes into P7, and I think it was Lawrence or one of the Aston Martins crossing the line there as well. Didn't see where they went, but wow. Some close times in this qualifying. But nobody could match or beat Robin Brain's time of a 1 minute 14.3. Very, very fast indeed. And it's LTB at 1 minute 14.6 joining him on that front row. The two Saubers, 3 and 4, with Lewis rounding off the top 5. You then got Griffin, Jasper, Kevin O'Reilly, Scott, and Jack Alacco. Ghost's effort was only good enough for 11th in the end, just missing out on the top 10 with Rubiowski, Lawrence, Rick, Josh, Kevin, and Johnny Carr. The starting cars on the grid for tonight's race here in Mexico. Ghost struggling with his brakes. The car is allegedly locking both the front and the back quite often. That doesn't sound fun to me. I hope that Ghost can deal with that. Johnny Carr says he hasn't played F1 in 2 weeks. He bottled 2 laps. That's why he potentially finds himself at the bottom of the grid for today's race. Looks like it's going to be dry, maybe some wet stuff toward the end of the session. I don't know. We'll see as we wait for the drivers to come up onto the grid. I've just noticed everyone's wearing red, white, and green for Mexico. Of course, could also be for Italy, but it's definitely not. It's funny how many flags have the same sort of colours on it. But yes, waiting we are. But a Christmas jumper race will be soon. That sounds fun. Not yet has not yet been announced, but I'm sure there'll be something coming in the coming days. Big podcast on Monday, I think, is when we'll probably be recording it. But anyway, 3, 4, 5 red lights as we wait for the final race of the season to begin, and off we go. We're underway and racing, and it looks like a solid start from Verstappen. Perhaps it is. He draws alongside LTB already. They're going all the way down towards turn 1. They're going to be chasing after that lead. Robin Brain looking in the mirrors, and it's going to be Verstappen who might have a go round the outside of turn 1, but doesn't. But he does have a go on LTB. LTB loses second place, but slots into third, and he's got Dakar behind him as well. Lewis is trying to get in racy as well. Kevin O'Reilly up a place into P7, and we're racing here in Mexico, and it's a decent start for some of the drivers. We'll see what the position changes are. Lap data and detail on. There we go. Rubiowski up 4 places. He's battling with Scott in the background there. There's a couple cars ghosted inside of each other. Rick and Kevin, the two Dutchmen, fighting it out at the back. And Johnny Carr's up 3 places as well from starting at the back. But everybody getting through cleanly, I think. I didn't see any damage on any cars, do I, as they're coming through? No, everybody's car in one piece. Thank goodness. We're underway and racing. Let's get... I don't know either. There we go. Let's get strategy. Most drivers starting on the mediums as Lawrence gets past Johnny Carr, Rick and Kevin, the only drivers opting for the hards. And there's a debate at this circuit, of course. 1 stop or 2. I was going to try the 1 stop until I got wing damage on lap 1. I think the 1 stop would have been the way to go, personally, for me, as Kevin and Rick swap places. But the 2 stop is effective here as well. If you can make it work, if you've got this pace, you can make a 2 stop at this circuit work. Obviously going medium, I don't know, you can do medium, hard, I guess, although the mediums kind of suck, so you want to do medium, hard, I think, is the better strategy. Because the mediums just fall off after about 8 laps, as I think Cavaliers found out on the final laps of Tier 2 on the Tuesday. But a relatively clean getaway for everyone. As Robin Brain is checking out of this one. And is off down the road. Already 1.2 ahead of QVR Verstappen. Very fast is the man in the Ferrari. But QVR closing in again a little bit. The detection point was a bit further back. Does he get the DRS going into this next area? He does. DRS active. And he's going to be putting the pressure on, trying to cut away from LTB, who is staying with them as well. Long DRS train. Pretty much every car on the grid within it, except for LTB, but he did have the DRS that a previous go around, so just about holding on as Jacko and Ghost having a battle. Ghost getting ahead of the McLaren driver. Can Jacko have another go at him in towards turn number 4 with some DRS assistance, but Ghost got the DRS as well, neutralises it, and I think the two Williams finding themselves in what has been a familiar position for them both this season, and that is near each other on track, working together to fight their way up the grid. Bialski getting close to the back of Griffin in that RB, but losing some time in the dirty air. Little dip on the grass through the S section there as well. No move, but QVR Verstappen looks like he wants to launch an attack. He's close to the back of this Ferrari. We've got to focus on the front of the pack, because this is a move potentially for the lead as they come round the final corner. Could be any of these three cars really. The straight is that long, and Verstappen going, and already Robin Brain tries to break the toe, and we're closing. The Ferrari all the way over to the left hand side of the circuit, defending the outside line, and moves towards the inside to defend. And then QVR Verstappen is still there on the outside, and the space is given as they go through. Tries to cut underneath the Ferrari. He's going to have another go here with the DRS as well, down towards turn number 4. And I think maybe some questionable defending going on from the Ferrari. That might be a report later on down the line, but QVR Verstappen finds no way past. Maybe if that scarlet and blue rear wing as Kevin and Rick battling. No, Johnny Carr, sorry, battling away for P15 and 16, that last points position. Points very crucial in this championship, which has been done and dusted since last week. Apologies for missing, I was busy. Well, I'm not saying busy, I was already at work, but they screwed me over is what they did. But LTB tried to find a move on QVR Verstappen, but hasn't. And Dakar wants to try and get involved in this. I think he's going to try and put himself in between LTB and Verstappen, and that's a bit of a shaky exit for the Alpine, but he's going to be on the attack. He's close enough to go for it. Robin Brain, I think, has got enough of a gap to keep Verstappen behind, but it's going to be how they go through turns 1, 2 and 3 that defines whether a move can be made, as Johnny Carr loses places to both the cars he's been fighting behind. A decent enough exit, but not close enough to draw along. Here comes Dakar. Can he find anything into turn 4? No, he's not quite close enough. That DRS train, very frustrating to be stuck in it, but stays where he is for now. Jasper and Jackalacco getting involved. Jasper getting past the McLaren of Jackalacco, as Ghost has got past Jasper as well, and sort of left Josh to deal with the rest of them. I think Josh will hope that he can find a way through. Nevertheless, meanwhile, QVR Verstappen losing touch with the Ferrari of Robin Brain again. I don't know if he's going to get the DRS this time around. He's not. The detection point's here. He's not, and that means he's going to be under pressure from the Alpine of LTB as they head down in towards turn number 1 now. And all those cars behind. Dakar has got to really try and help his teammate out here now. No DRS for Verstappen, although a big enough gap means that LTB doesn't really get a chance to make a move on that green car ahead of him. He settles in behind, maybe looks to work on a cleaner exit. Rubialski, meanwhile, battling away with Griffin. There's contact between the two of them. No rear wing damage, though, for the RB. And they move along nicely, and no position changes really for any of these guys chasing for the lead. And once again, QVR Verstappen has closed back in on Robin Brain. So Robin Brain is struggling somewhere. I don't know if it's his straight line speed or it's that first complex of corners that he's losing this time in. Because one minute he's really far ahead, and in the next minute, Verstappen is catching. It's not to do with battery usage, perhaps. I don't know. I can't tell from this off-board what's going on, although that did look a little bit wide from the Ferrari going along. And speaking of Ferraris, that's Johnny Carr in the wall. He's kept the car going though, and he's done it all. Robin Brain was so deep through the corner. This is going to be a moment for Kvyat Verstappen. He smells blood in the water. The Ferrari looking vulnerable this time. Let's ride on board to the outside this time for the Ferrari. The inside goes to Sauber, breaks late as he dares, goes along. Robin Brain cuts back along to go onto the outside, and then the inside uses the overspeed to get back ahead of Kvyat Verstappen, and the move is not done for Verstappen. He's got to try again into the next corner. The Ferrari weaving all over the track. That's more than one move there, Robin Brain. You've got to be careful when you're doing stuff like that. It's quite dangerous. But no harm done for now. Kvyat Verstappen just backing off of that move in particular. And Robin Brain putting up a defence to keep the lead of this race. None of the other cars behind really able to get involved, and the DRS train is what's causing that. Rubialski's leading the next DRS train from 6th down to 10th. Lawrence leading the next one from 11th down to 14th. Kevin O'Reilly and Jasper have come in for their stops as well. I think the pit window's kind of opening, and there it is. Robin Brain into the pits, releases Verstappen to go ahead. Dake's come in as well, so you've got to think Verstappen might come in next lap to try and cover him off. The undercut is very strong here in Mexico. So we'll see. Robin Brain's got to chuck in a lap. He's going to come out in clean air. Dake's going to be with him though, so Dake might be able to try and put some pressure on the Ferrari if he's close enough. Let's see as they come out of the pits. No, perhaps not, as Kevin O'Reilly has undercut Dake and finds himself ahead of the Sauber, which might be a problem for the green outfit here. I said not to get in the way. Meanwhile, Josh and Rick side by side. A bit of contact between the two of them. No harm done through there, but they're still side by side as they go. Rick leaving the room for the Williams to draw alongside. And now it's a traction race down to the next corner. And it's going to be Rick who gets it and stays ahead for now. There's a yellow flag, and that's Scott having a moment in the S section. He's still got a front wing, but missing his left end plate. It's back to the leaders. Kvyat Verstappen, yeah, in he comes. And LTB, does Lewis follow suit? Yeah. Rubialski's surely got to come in as well. Ghost in. Scott, he'll be coming in as well. And Kevin and Rick will stay out, and they'll be battling with Josh toward the front as Josh has stayed out. So here's Robin Brain then. We'll be looking for the Sauber of Kvyat Verstappen. It's on the move. But he's only just left the pit lane, and there goes Robin Brain off into the distance. Can Dake get past his teammate? He's not quite close enough. Kevin O'Reilly puts himself in between Verstappen and LTB, which will give Verstappen some breathing room. But 2.6 seconds is the gap after Verstappen has left the pit lane, and that's how much the undercut is worth here in Mexico. And Verstappen lost touch with the Ferrari of Robin Brain, and he's got some work to do now. And Kevin O'Reilly's found himself in this lead train due to his strategy. That undercut, only 2 laps, has put him in amongst the leaders. Keeping an eye on Griffin and Jacko. Seem to be close together on track. No fighting yet between them. Off they go, but we've got a little train snaking its way through the S section. Verstappen leading Kevin O'Reilly and those behind him. Oh, excuse me. Let's see, Robin Brain, fastest lap of the race. and looks to be not looking back at Verstappen, and has definitely got a stranglehold on this race now. Josh, Rick and Kevin all yet to pit. Perhaps Josh trying to go for the one stop and go longer, try and do what I was going to. If you come in about lap 12 to, well, lap 11 to 13, sort of that sort of region, then you can make the one stop work. These hard tyres will go a very long way. They won't be very nice at the end, but they will do it. It's Jakalaka looking for a way past Rubialski, dives down the inside of turn number 5. They're still side by side now as they go, and it's very close between them, but the space is left. Rubialski gets the better exit and squeezes Jack out, and Jack has to back out, sit behind the Haas, and live to fight another day. LTB now, track limits penalty. One of 2 drivers to have them. 3 seconds to both Rubialski and LTB there with their track limits penalties. Not going to be helping them. Is Josh coming in now? In he comes. So I think that's the sort of end of the window, I think. Or the very... I'll say the end. I don't know. He could take the hards to the end from here, is all I'm saying. They just won't look very great, although he does have that wing damage to contend with, which isn't going to help him in the slightest, as it's going to put him plumb last. Meanwhile, Rick and Kevin still close together, battling for what is at least the provisional lead. But Robin Brain is your net leader here, and everyone behind him from Verstappen downwards is pitted now. You've got to think Kevin and Rick will be caught soon as Jack finally gets past Rubialski. Although Rubialski off the track, once the move was complete, he might feel a bit aggrieved by that one. But Jack makes his way through and continues on his way. But he's still got that Haas to contend with, as Griffin and Ghost as well are in that train. It's not over yet. Let's see, can Rick make a move on Kevin now? He's close enough. It's all about if he has the speed. Kevin known for his straight line speed, and well, I think that's your answer. Rick does not have an answer to him, as Kevin has shot off down the road and gained almost, well, over 6/10 on his countryman. No chance on this one. It's a long race, Mexico, lap after lap. You just think, when is the last one? I think it's long on both ends, both spectator and as a driver. I like the track, it's just not as fun as some other ones, I think. Especially when you're just stuck at a DRS train all race long. It's never fun, but Ghost makes his way past Griffin into turn 4 and through 5. And now they go through 6, and he'll be chasing after Jakalako and Rubialski. Rubialski getting back past Jakalako there as well. Griffin has left the session. He's lagged out, potentially. I mean, I hope that wasn't a rage quit. But Robin Brain all over the back of these 2 slow-moving leaders. They haven't stopped yet, and Robin Brain wants to get past ASAP. And he's already drawn level with Rick. He's got the better grip. He's going to go after Kevin now. Might find Kevin a little bit harder with that straight line speed that he has. But Robin Brain going to draw alongside, brake as late as he dares. Rick wants to follow him through, though. The 3 of these cars all close together, and Kevin gets over the curb and almost goes into the side of Rick. And they're still battling behind. Robin Brain's checked out and gone down the road. But Kevin and Rick still level, and Rick's going to go for the move around the outside into towards turn 4. There's contact again, and Kevin just put out of sorts there as well, and that's allowing Verstappen to close in to them a little bit quicker, and maybe get a little closer to Robin Brain, but it's not going to do much. He's just going to have to hope that Kevin and Rick don't interfere too much with his race, because they're not in it really, these 2. But they're fighting for positions, so they don't have any there's no need for them to let anybody through, really. They're free to fight these drivers. It's not like they're coming up against lapped cars and it's a blue flag situation. They're allowed to fight. And fight they will. Here we go then. This DRS train has become immediately longer. Kvyat Verstappen's got to try and get past. And he's going to go after Rick, who seems very, very vulnerable without the DRS. And gets passed by both Kevin and Verstappen there. Verstappen might even try and get a move done on Kevin in the Aston Martin. Let's see. He will get a helping of DRS, the Aston Martin, as it's a double DRS zone here. Much to many drivers' chagrin. But Verstappen through quite comfortably on Kevin. And he can now focus on trying to whittle away at that gap to Robin Brain. But I think Robin Brain has looked like the class of the field so far. Meanwhile, Rick losing another place to LTB, who's managed to find his way through. He doesn't want to see Kvyat Verstappen run too far away from it. And of course, he's got that 3-second time penalty as well, which could promote the likes of Kevin or Dake onto the podium should they finish within that 3-second window. A few other cars are joined onto the back of this train. Lewis and Jasper on the back of it as well. It's a long, long train. Well, what is effectively the podium places. Here comes Kevin. Rick clearly not got the straight line speed. Both Kevin and now Dake trying to get a move on him. Rick not fighting too hard there. I think he knows this isn't his race right now. Ghost getting past Jackalacco into P11. I think these two will be fighting all race long. Moving on as Rick fighting with Lewis. I think trying to get a place back, but doesn't in the end, or even defend a place. But Lewis, he's just got the better grip on those fresher tyres. Rick's tyres are about half their age, well, double their age, I should say. So, he's going to find it difficult to keep up with those drivers. Rick probably looking to come in around lap 24. I would have said somewhere around there. But Kevin holding on quite nicely. LTB got past Kevin and he's sitting around the 1 second mark. Doesn't have DRS down the straight, but he's can work on trying to catch Verstappen and putting some time in between himself and the likes of Kevin O'Reilly and Dake. And Dake going to try and go for a move on Kevin O'Reilly. Boxes Kevin in. The two of them are side by side as they go through. Dake loses out ground as they go through turn 2. He's unable to stick it around the outside and stays there. Kevin causing some problems, I think, with his straight line speed. And now Dake and Kevin O'Reilly are going to go at it once again. And it's down the inside for Dake. Kevin O'Reilly fights it. Kevin O'Reilly blocked, really, by Kevin, the slow-moving Sauber. They're almost free wide going through this section. Dake's trying to move around the outside. Kevin O'Reilly trying to find a way through as well. But then Dake has still got his nose in alongside Kevin and finally gets past Aston Martin, who has been quite the roadblock for these drivers. And I'm glad that was all clean racing there, because that was very, very close between all three of them in a very tight portion of the track. I think Kevin O'Reilly will be a bit miffed to miss out on making a move there, and is lucky not to be overtaken by Lewis as he made a slight mistake. But Jasper fills his boots and gets himself into P7 ahead of Lewis now. And this is Kevin O'Reilly's chance to get ahead of Kevin this time around. But look at the straight line speed. The DRS just has no effect. He's got to go for a late braking move, and there he goes. And that's more like it. Straight through he goes, and he can go back and chase after Dake. Their job right now, get within 3 seconds of LTB, who is just about sitting with QVR and is actually closing in on him. So that might not be as easy as they might think. Ghost and Rubialski going at it now. Ghost down the inside of Rubialski. Rubialski still on the outside of Ghost. They make contact with each other. And Rubialski off the circuit. Jacalaco's still in amongst it as well. These three have been locked together for the last few laps. But Ghost has found his way past Rubialski and past Jacalaco. And found himself now into P9 after fighting hard. Meanwhile, it's now Lewis and Jasper's turn to try and dispatch of Kevin. Rick's come in last lap for another set of hards, so he's definitely committed to the two-stop as he's fighting with Josh and goes very deep while doing so. Here comes Lewis trying to get past Kevin O'Reilly. Not Kevin O'Reilly, but Kevin. There he goes. Jasper's going to follow him through, and finally all of those cars that were stuck behind Kevin have dispatched of him and left him out there to run his own race again. Rick trying to perhaps undercut Kevin. Gain back some of that time he lost after being overtaken. Josh wants to get involved with Rick as well, but doesn't quite go for it on this occasion. Rubialski and Ghost again in this section of the track. Rubialski looking to the inside, dives down the inside on Ghost, and I think this time maybe Ghost might not have it, although he gets better traction out of that corner, and they're side by side into the S section. This surely cannot end well for them. There's space left between them. Rubialski out wide, and that allows him to slot back in front of Ghost and keep the place, but Ghost might have a look as they exit the S section now. Jacalaco's trying to look in on it as well. Rubialski defends as well as he might, but loses out in the end, but dives to the inside, almost hitting the back of that Williams. Jacalaco hits the back of the Haas, and now is under pressure from Lawrence as well. There's a lot of battling going on in this final race of the season, and it makes up for it being not a title fight, but it's a very entertaining race so far as Lewis and Jasper swap places into turn one. LTB is on the charge after Verstappen and is trying to get his way ahead of him now. He's within that DRS, goes to Rubialski side by side again in turns 1, 2 and 3. Could be another side by side action in towards turn 4, 5 and 6. Goes defending the inside, trying to force Rubialski the long way around, but then Rubialski tries to go to the inside, doesn't quite go for it. Oh, it sits behind. Jacalaco keeps Lawrence behind as well. Griffin's in amongst all this battling as well, so it's now 5 cars here. It's battling for the, I guess, the rest of the points paying positions really. But P9 is what this battle is for. Lawrence has got a time penalty there as well. 3 seconds for Josh, Lawrence, Robin Brain and LTB there. That will help Verstappen. Now his gap is effectively 9/10. 6 seconds for Kevin and Rubialski. Maybe some penalties might get removed later down the line. We're yet to see, but Jasper, meanwhile, looking for a move on Kevin O'Reilly, getting a move on Kevin O'Reilly, and finding his way into P5. LTB, I think maybe just content to stay with Verstappen and keep away from Dakar, I think is the plan here. Because if he fights, he's then going to be reeled in slowly by Dakar. But if he just sits behind, he can comfortably cruise, is the word I'm looking for, into P3. So I think that's the strategy right now from LTB. Kevin O'Reilly didn't have a response to Jasper. Of course, that double DRS zone and not allowing that, as Jasper has left the session. I think LTB has also left the session. Both Alpines lagging out at the same time. That is not good for their races at all. And that's going to gift Dakar a podium here. If he can't get in quickly, as Robin Brain is in again for his second and final stop of the race. Kevin O'Reilly's followed him in as well, so going early, the race leader and Kevin O'Reilly want to get off these tyres as soon as possible. This might trigger everyone else to come in. And this undercut might work for Kevin O'Reilly, who I think is effectively in a race here with Dakar now. As LTB and Jasper have lagged out. I don't think I have them, which is annoying, and I can't invite them back. I'm pretty sure I don't have them. No, I don't, so I can't invite them back. Anyways, Dakar now within a second. We'll see if Verstappen responds to the pit. He does not. Stays out. Oh, Dakar. Yes, he will. Responds, comes into the pit lane. Crunch time now. As Dakar's in a race with Kevin O'Reilly here. How much is that undercut worth? Dakar's been released from his pit box. I think he should be okay. I think that time lost behind Kevin was very instrumental. But let's see. Kevin O'Reilly. Oh my god, he keeps disappearing from my screen. But you can see Dakar slotting in amongst the car ahead, which is Rick. So he's well clear. Is Dakar of Kevin O'Reilly, who is almost 3 seconds down the road. So time to get to work for Kevin in the Mercedes. I hope his teammate doesn't cost him too much time. He's actually a lot closer than it looks, because he could get into the train here, I guess. 2.1. That can't be right, surely. Yeah, it's coming down that gap, so I'll see. But Robin Brain gets past Kevin, dispatches of him. Kvyat Verstappen's in the pit lane now as well. Robin Brain will come up miles ahead of him, I think. Let's see, Verstappen into his pit box, keeping an eye on the dots around there. As Dakar, I guess, was pretty close to him. And remember, these two Saubers are fighting for that P2. But Verstappen is out and untroubled. So some pretty tame pit stops. Kevin has been going for 22 laps on those hard tyres, by the way, and he's still in P4. Looking for a great race is Kevin here. Lewis and LTB swapping places, but I think that's LTB's AI. It is. And Lewis will take the provisional lead of this race. Interestingly, will he go for the one stop? He could, but those tyres are going to suck, and no way is Robin Brain not just going to get him in a few laps. Maybe even this lap. If he can get close enough. Will Lewis just come in? Let's see. Doesn't come in on this occasion. But I think Robin Brain will get him very shortly. It's not even a question of will the one stop winning the race, but will the one stop find him in the podium places before the end? We'll see. Because Kvyat Verstappen is your net P2. Everyone ahead of him, apart from Robin Brain, has got to stop again. Well, they don't have to, but will most likely stop again. Rubiaski with 12 seconds of time penalties now. Getting more track limits warnings to his name as Dakar finds his way past Jasper's ghost. Or should I say Jasper the friendly ghost. As Ghost quite far down the order, 11th on the road. He's 11 seconds behind Rick. He has just pit though, so he's got the drivers ahead of him to contend with. Rubialski and Jakalaka and Lawrence all followed him in. So they were locked together when they came in, and they're locked together still as they've come out. And we'll see where this sort of undercut gets them, because they'll definitely get ahead of Jasper and maybe even Kevin. Let's see. Kevin's in the pits now, and I think he might be fighting with them. Onto the mediums goes the Aston Martin. Let's see where he comes out in relation to Ghost and Rubialski. Let's ride on board with Ghost. Look to the right hand side of your screen. Look for a car. No car there because he's right there. There's Kevin. He's going to be right at the back of this train, just behind his teammate Lawrence. I don't think there'll be any team orders at Aston Martin, so I wouldn't be surprised if Lawrence fights him. But those medium tyres, they're going to be good for the first few laps, but then the hards will come into their own, and I think overall the hard runners will win out. But I think what Kevin's got in his back pocket is, of course, that straight line speed that he has got himself a bit of a reputation for. Big gaps going. Dakar will be looking to get rid of LTB, but it's not really a fight there. Rick and Griffin, this isn't really a fight here either. Rick's of fresher tyres. Then Griffin, of course. Is Griffin going to pin into the pit lane? Yep, there he goes. So Rick has found himself in P7. Up 9 places is Rick. Up into P5 now, after those ahead of him pit. And looking for a strong result. He'll get to the end on these tyres for sure. Although, I think he has to pit again, actually. So, I guess he's not going to be. He's kind of fluffed the strategy here, to be honest. I think. Because he's going to end up all the way down sort of behind Scott, I think, when he comes out. So, maybe not the masterclass that Rick thought it was. Unless he pit on lap 1 and I missed it. I don't think he has. No, he's only done one stop. He went from hards to hards. So Rick running a McLaren strategy, it seems. Quite fittingly, seeing as he's in a McLaren. Bar rules, but they don't rule the pit lane. I'll take a Ferrari strategy over them, I think. But lots of time penalties among this train here. 12 for Rubialski, 3 for Jack and Lawrence. Kevin is on 6, 3 for LTB and Josh, and 3 for Robin Brain. But LTB not really a factor in this race anymore since he lagged out. Scott finds his way past. Here comes Rubialski down the inside of Ghost. Pretty simple move. Jakalaka and Lawrence are side by side. Kevin wants to get involved. Lawrence is ahead of the McLaren. Will Kevin sniff a move out on the Papaya car ahead? Let's see. Hasn't got DRS, has Jack. He's kind of been bullied in this position. And here comes Kevin down the inside. He breaks late as he dares. Jack's going to fight him all the way around. Lawrence sort of blocks him in there as well. Jakalaka keeps the inside line for the next corner and keeps the position. Kevin, does he get a better exit out of turn 6? Yes, he does. He's going to go for it into 7. A nice clean move for Kevin. And he's up into P11. Those 6 seconds, they will more than likely come back to haunt him. And see him tumble down back behind Jakalako, especially if he gets any more. Ghost, the only driver in this train, not with a time penalty. I think Rick might be putting the softs on toward the end, you know? Let's see, here comes Ghost again, down the inside of turn 1. Oh, locks up, makes contact, loses the car a bit, but keeps it going. And he's going to have to try again. Let's see if he can make the move at the stick this time. Rubialski maybe dumping the battery on the straight. Doesn't go for it. Kevin's found his way past. Jack Alako finds his way past Lawrence now as well. And up into P9. But the longer he stays in this train, the worse his tyres are going to get. And the more advantage these hard runners will gain. Let's see, remember Kevin, he's got 6 seconds of time penalties as well. And now he's got to get past Ghost. With the DRS there as well for Ghost, it's going to be difficult for Kevin. I think he might get Rubialski though, who won't have the DRS. Going into turn 1 as Lewis gets past Rick, who's finally come in. But let's see, here we go. He's going to settle in behind Rubialski, open up the rear wing, shoot down the outside, and I think that's going to be a job done. Here comes Kevin now to the inside. Oh, thinks better of it. Waits for his opportunity into turn 4. Clever racing, using the double DRS zone to his advantage. Looking to the inside of turn 4. Rubialski's going to fend him off though around the outside. There's a bit of wheel banging, but rubbing is racing, as they say, and room is left for the both of them. And they're still side by side as they go through, as Rubialski sort of runs Kevin off the road there. And then Rubialski keeps the place, and Kevin has to settle in behind. This is the only battle on track. Everybody else is sort of checked out from each other. So we're watching these four go for it, and Jack Alako's trying to make a move on Lawrence. They're side by side, the pair of them. Lawrence fends him off going round the outside, and Jack can't find a way round, and he's going to have to try and do it again. And Lawrence, importantly, won't have the DRS for the next straight, I don't think. And he's going to be a sitting duck to Jack, who will have it. And does get it. And he's going to zoom along, and Kevin gets past Rubialski finally. And here comes Jack Alaka in the background as well. He gets past Lawrence quite easily. But crucially, Ghost has opened up 3 tenths or so, but that's been lost along that straight. Then gained back in the corners, but about 2 tenths, let's say, to Kevin, which is enough to keep him out of DRS for the time being. On lap 30 of 36, not long left of this race to go. Robin Brain leads the way, 3 seconds of time penalties to him. Kevin's now got 9 seconds. Rubialski 12, 3 seconds for everybody else. So many drivers struggling with track limits this evening. And quite easily so, I think, around Mexico. But this battle's kind of petered out a little bit now. Jack and Lawrence have sort of snipped themselves off the back, and that's invited maybe Scott. No, not quite, but he has gained a bit of time on them as they've been fighting. But Lawrence and Jack are going to continue their tiff before P9 and 10. Scott could come into play if he can draw in close enough, but that's not going to help him, as Josh has got past him now. But it's all for naught if Josh, as Josh has that penalty. But I'm really tired today. It's been a very long day. I'm struggling to keep up. There's Rubialski making his way through. Rick and Scott side by side through this technical section, and it looks like Rick's got the better of Scott and is up ahead of him, and is going to be going after Josh now. He finally pit and went onto medium tyres, did Rick. Didn't bother touching the softs. Where's the fastest lap right now? Fastest lap belongs to Griffin, 1:17.8. As Rick and Josh trade places, Josh into P11 he goes. Garen's lost some more time, and I think those mediums starting to fall off now. And just keep an eye on Ghost's time, because it can come down quite dramatically in these closing stages of the race, especially as the mediums start to go past their best before. Josh and Rick trading places again. Scott getting involved and wanting to go for another one, perhaps, but doesn't quite do it. They'll both have a helping of DRS, these two, which will help them get further away from Rick. He won't have anything to do about it because he doesn't have DRS. Griffin passes LTV, he's in the pits, but as I say, these two are well out of the race thanks to them both lagging out. Let's QVR Verstappen. The leaders will check in on them, make sure they're still here and circulating and not putting it in the barrier. Kevin O'Reilly in fourth. I think he might have hoped for a podium after all that in the pits, but alas, no dice. Ghost has closed in almost a second on this lap, but he'd need a bit more than that if he wants P5. Yeah, I could do with some sleep, man. Honestly. No rest for the wicked, though. Too much to do. Oh, dear. Where are we? Kevin. Rubiowski. Closest battle on track, although you've got Scott and Rick and Josh there as well for P11. Rubiowski just not able to close in. Not able to go after Kevin. He's got that 12 seconds of penalties as well, so even if he did get ahead, he would go back behind. So it's a little futile if you're Rubiowski right now. 4.8 now the gap for Ghost. It's encouraging seeing the gap come down as those tyres wear away. I'll keep an eye on it as Ghost is going on. We'll try and take a look at the standings. Quickly as well, because we're focusing on the battle for P4, and I think as it stands, it's going to go the way of Lewis, even if Ghost passes him or not. Although Ghost looks like he might be finishing in the top 5 today in the standings. Kevin O'Reilly, oh, maybe, let's see. No, Kevin O'Reilly would need an 11-point gain. Maybe even a 12-point gain. Yeah, it's not happening. But he will get ahead of LTB, who sadly lagged out. Not much happening right now. Goes to 3.9, 3.8. He's closing in. Can he see the car ahead? He can, just about. If you look closely. There he is. It's all the more encouraging when you can see the car ahead. Jasper managed to get back in, maybe? Or is that his AI just going for another pit stop? That is indeed his AI going for another pit stop. Robin Brain circulating. Rick and Scott trading places into the stadium section. Rick getting back past. I think he might start to feel the effects of wear. I think this might be a shoulda, woulda, coulda race for Ghost here. As he tries to hunt down Lewis. He might just need that one more lap. And Lewis is now going to have the DRS. From Jasper, perhaps. No, not quite. He's not close enough. But Ghost closing in. And actually Jasper might even pull away from him, to be fair. But Jasper is an AI lapped car, so we'll see. I think Ghost might be a bit aggrieved by that, if that is the case. Because he has been closing at a rate of knots. As I say, the mediums are an awful tyre around this track. They do not last long at all. I think Ghost will be pushing as hard as he can. He sees Lewis up ahead. The battery difference is crazy. Let's ride on board because see how much he's struggling. Look how much he slides through that final corner and almost losing the car and going into the pit lane. Ghost, this is going to be a final lap push for P5. We'll ride along with him. Rubialski's going to be close enough to launch an attack on Kevin at the same time as well. Let's see if Kevin can fend off the Haas car of Rubialski. He's going to go to the outside into turn 1. We're trying to go the long way round. Here he goes. Kevin brakes as late as he dares. And they go into each other. And Rubialski finds his way through. But Kevin comes back at him down the inside and now the outside. And it's contact again between them. We could see that in the stewards' room later on. But that's not fun for them. And that's Rick round in the first section of the circuit. We get back on board with Ghost, who is tantalisingly close to Lewis here as well. Rounding the final corner, though, is Robin Brain to take home a dominant win here in Mexico, with Kvyat, Verstappen and Dakar taking their usual spots on the podium as they have been all season long. Kevin O'Reilly round the final few corners, but we're focusing on Lewis and Ghost. Can Ghost go for a late lunge down the inside? No, he thinks better of it. Can he try and get him on the exit of the final corner? That's going to have to be it. He goes for the move down the last corner. Let's see if he can out-traction Lewis. Oh, no! Oh, he's almost done what I did. Oh, I won't let him forget that one, maybe. Oh, at least it wasn't for a podium, I suppose. But the P6 is where he's going to stay. Jackalacco 7th. Lawrence gets 8th. Josh 9th. Kevin 10th. After that, Rubialski drops down, even behind Rick at this point, although I think there might be a steward's inquiry as to the incident between Rick. I think he did do a sumo. He did. He just about kept out of the barrier. I won't let him forget that on the podcast this week. Oh dear. There's Robin Brain on the podium that one last time. And that's it. It did. It did. Oh dear, let's go over to the party chat. We might be able to talk to our champions one last time. Let's go to tier 1. Let's start a party. Give me 1 second. But there you go. There's the results. We kind of went through it as we went along. We'll just wait for Dakar and Verstappen to join. There's Verstappen. We'll get a interview ahead of them after their win of the Constructors' Championship. Oh dear, I'm so tired. Okay. Cool, I've got you both. I guess I'll talk to Verstappen first, because I think, if I'm not mistaken... Hold on. Need to look at my standings sheet. Yes, that will cinch P2 in the championship, and I think it was quite a quiet race for the most part out there. But I don't know. Run us through it from your end.
Yeah, I've had absolutely no faith in this. Mexico has always been one of my worst tracks, but somehow quality was alright. I found a decent lap there, and then from the start got to P2. I kind of expected Robin to drive away, but he made a few mistakes in the first stint, so just tried to stick on DRS. Had a few goes at him, trying to overtake, but he held on quite nicely. Then with the undercuts, he did gain some time, and I was just hoping to gain it all back at the end, which worked a decent amount because at very much at the end, I was catching him about like half a second per lap, but I just couldn't keep the pace up in the last 3 or 4. So I think I came short of getting within his 3 seconds, basically. So, but overall, I was very happy with the pace. Definitely a tint.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like I was trying to figure out where Robin was sort of losing that time, but I didn't really see. But you 1 minute you were out of it, and next minute you're back in, and it was quite a. I think it was quite a borderline defence from where I saw. How did you feel about the moves there?
There was one I think where he was a bit close, down towards turn 4. Where I tried to get up the inside, but I don't really know if the gap was there. It's kind of opening and closing. It's quite difficult to get. So I don't think there was too much wrong with his defense. Honestly, he was just aggressive but fair. So I enjoyed racing him in that regard.
Fair dues, and I'll get back to talking about the constructors in a minute. I'll talk to Dakar first, and then I'll pitch the same question to you both. But Dakar, it was a quiet race, I guess, for you as well. But were you, I guess, going into this race, was there a bit of a motive to finish ahead of Verstappen and try and snatch P2, or were you not that bothered?
It was in the back of my mind, but I know deep down that if it wasn't for my cousin's birthday, I would have beaten him anyway. So no, I was thinking about it, but I wasn't that bothered. The main goal was to wrap up the constructors, which we did, and yeah, like him, I absolutely despise this track, which I think is pretty well known within the league. So actually being competitive and fighting for podium was a bit of a surprise. So yeah, I guess going in, it's not the result maybe you'd be looking for, but I'm still pretty pleased to get on the podium again.
I mean, yeah, it was. It was I think a fortunate podium with the two Alpines lagging out there, which is a shame for them.
Yeah.
God's sake. You kind of throw me off my stride, but I guess we'll try and wrap the interview up a little bit. But you guys have won the Constructors' Championship. I'll start with Verstappen though, but I guess it was a dominant go. Are you going to be looking to go again next season and go for it?
I'm certainly down for it. So if the other side of the garage is happy to do that, I'm definitely going to say yes.
Dakar.
Yeah, 100%. Well, it seems to have worked for this season, so why not run it back and do it again?
And how about the McLaren strategy of sending number one drivers after the Drivers' Championship? How's that sound?
Sorry, I'm hearing some ratchet noises in the background, so just throwing me off a bit. But I mean, we are always going to start the season pretty much on equal terms, and I think that this season we actually managed it really well, just by not necessarily like playing as well. We are playing a team game, but mainly just staying out of each other's way and trying to help each other without it's not papaya rules. We'll clear that up, but yeah, I think we're going to run things mainly the same as we did this season because it's worked so well for us. So I don't see any reason to change, to be honest.
Fair enough. Well, congratulations on the Constructors' Championship anyway, guys. I know you won it last week and I wasn't able to talk to you, but you've done a fantastic job and been the dominant team on the grid. So well done to you both.
Well done. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Zeno.
And I guess our interview crashes. Any final comments on the season? I'll start with Lawrence.
What do you want to know?
I don't know. Any final comments? Any new revelations? Any new?
Do I get driver of the day for being P8?
You get no.
Oh well.
I don't even think you
Oh,
finished in the
what's-
top. I don't even think you finished in the top 15 overall. So,
I've got something to say.
go on, Jack.
I just want to wish a happy 40th birthday to Daka.
Oh, brilliant.
Bye!
Fucking hell. Well, that's going to wrap it up, guys. That's the final race of Tier 1 this year. Stick around. Well, I don't think there will be a stream for Elite, but it will be wrapped up soon. Very close in that championship over there, even if this one was a bit of a snore fest in the terms of the championship this season. But yes, we'll be back in the new year as soon as possible, racing once again. Probably again split between myself and Louis, so we'll see how that pans out. But we're a few weeks away now from Christmas, so I'm going to wish everybody a Merry Christmas from myself if I don't hear from you beforehand. And I hope you all stay safe and have a happy new year as well. But thanks for watching the last few races with me, and I'll see you again very, very soon. Goodbye all.